This is the CHRILLCAST. I'm Chris.
Well,
I'm Chris.
And Chris is well known for his Snark Tank podcast,
Yeah, it's doing pretty good.
On top of that, though, what is your main channel all about?
My main channel is all about me, I guess. I don't know what I do there. I do current events, I do news, I do comedy, I do music, I do video game stuff. Working on a big video game thing right now that I'm really excited about. But it's really just an extension of all the stuff that I'm interested in, I think, is the best way to really summarize it. It only took me like 4 of these.
And he's dedicated because he actually dyed his hair gray for a video, so.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was not the wisest thing.
I can't imagine why.
Turns out that stuff is really toxic, even though they sell it to children at Party City.
Oh my gosh. Oh, so you're talking about literally the dye being really bad.
Oh yeah, it's really not fun.
Oh, well then watch his video, suffer through it since he suffered through the gray hair.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm just kidding. It was a good video. Definitely go watch it. Rocket League. It's Throwback Thursday. We're gonna be covering Rocket League because Rocket League came out in 2000 and around. I'm sorry, I'm way off today, guys. Okay. It came out on the PlayStation 4 and Windows on July 7, 2015, which means we're basically celebrating 5 years of Rocket League. So it is actually the sequel to a game called Supersonic Acrobatic Rocket-Powered Battle Cars.
Yeah, I've never heard of that game.
I think you can still get it on the PlayStation 3. It came out in 2008, and they basically have stated it failed because of the name. I'm like, well, yeah, when you name it Supersonic Acrobatic Rocket-Powered Battle Cars, how do you recommend that to your friend? By the time I've finished that word, Will's like, I'm not buying it.
Yeah, no, for sure. Rocket League is definitely a way better, way better name.
So it actually received mixed reviews, the original game. It was not a success, but it gained a loyal kind of cult following. And then Psyonix continued to support themselves through different work with other various developers and producers and studios. And in the background, they were developing Rocket League, which was the redefined version of this. I'm not going to say it again. Battle Cars game. It was released for, like I said before, Microsoft Windows and the PlayStation 4 in 2015. So we're celebrating 5 years of the Rocket League being out. And in 2016. It was distributed by 505 Games, a physical retail version. That was with a partnership with Warner Bros. Interactive. And there are versions on Mac OS, but that was actually not really continued very well. So in 2020, they dropped it. And then in April of 2017, they do want to talk about the fact that it sold 9.5 million in digital sales, and it sold 1 million copies physically. And that was in 2017. So, Rocket League is the definitive version of that genre, which I'm not even sure that genre existed prior to Rocket League existing. I don't know.
No, it definitely took that. It's such a weird, it's something that you would watch on TV, if that was a thing that was real, I'd be all over it.
Oh yeah.
People flipping their cars into a giant soccer ball, that'd be amazing. But it's kind of a wild thing that it just sort of invented this whole thing. Technically, I guess Supersonic Acrobatic Rocket-Powered Battle Cars did it first, but that's still pretty wild.
I just thought about this. There is one game I can say that had a mode similar to Rocket League well before Rocket League existed. It was Monster Truck Madness N64 Soccer. There was a soccer mode on Monster Truck Madness for the N64. I forgot about this until just now as I was thinking about there was no other thing like this. No, Rockstar with Monster Truck Madness developed this game exclusively for Microsoft back in N64 days. And let's see. This is literally, look at this.
Was it on the N64?
Yeah, and Windows.
So and Windows, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so Microsoft and Rockstar made this. I've totally forgot that this was a thing, but this is N64 Rocket League essentially.
That's kind of wild. It's so clearly the same. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, obviously, it's not like that much of a. It's not like a super unique concept or anything. Like soccer with cars is actually probably like I'm pretty sure I played a custom Halo game variant, like a Halo 3 custom games that was basically that. But the way that Rocket League does it is like interesting because it's just kind of a mess. It's like a physics playground where it's just sort of like everybody's just playing co-op with a car, and they're just trying their best to do these like insane skill shots.
But I had never in my life put these two games together until today. This is like a revelation for me because I literally had never thought about this being so similar to Rocket League. And this is just like one game mode on Monster Truck Madness. This is probably my favorite Monster Truck game of all time, which I'm not really like a big Monster Truck fan, but I love this game. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. But anyways, that was the only thing as far as that goes. What do you guys think the impact of Rocket League on the games industry is? Like, as far as like, I mean, Minecraft obviously testament to that game is the staying power is insane. Does Rocket League have that kind of staying power?
Well, I think a bigger thing that Rocket League did was it really pushed cross-platform playing.
That's a good point.
It was one of the first games, right, that actually you could play on the PS4.
Yeah.
And
that was the first big one that I can remember having like proper crossplay. I remember being like really impressed about that at the time. I was like, oh, that's pretty sick. Like because that was at the time. I don't think it was really like thought of that like we would even have that option. Like the idea that crossplay would be just coming to consoles as like an expected thing where you could just sort of play with people on other platforms is kind of wild.
Yeah.
And we're still catching up to that, honestly. Like some games are still trying to get it working. So the fact that Rocket League was able to just do it like in the beginning is kind of, or like super early on, is like really impressive.
So this is that supersonic version, by the way, if anybody wanted to know what that looked like.
Oh, this just looks the same.
It does, yeah.
Yeah. That's straight up Rocket League.
Yep. So it was
I
pretty
guess
much
like at the time it just didn't have the well, Rocket League also exploded just because like again, like 2008 is a very different time to when Rocket League came out. Like you had content creators in 2015 and you had like this huge competitive scene that people were watching and people were taking esports a lot more seriously.
Yeah. And they had Twitch and everything like that.
Yeah, Twitch and like all sorts of things. It's actually this is kind of, you know, just the fact that it exploded in a time of great excess is kind of impressive.
Yeah, I mean, when you have a game like this, highlight clips are so easy to put together. I think having the ability to have easy highlight reels that look very impressive and the physics engine that they had behind this game really led to the popularity and the amount of trending you can see on like a YouTube or a Twitch or a Mixer or any of those various platforms. And then the cross-platform play, being that it was in the center of that discussion, I think also helped its popularity.
Yeah, no, without a doubt.
I guess the only real question that we need to answer is, do we like Rocket League? Like, is this a game we enjoy?
Yeah. I do. I mean, I recommended it for a Fandom Friday one week.
That's right, you did, yeah. I suck at it, but I enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm really bad at it. I don't really play it because I'm so bad at it, but I do like it, and I have fun watching it. Like if a friend of mine's like playing it, I'm probably gonna watch and like make fun of him whenever he fucks up. But it's a crazy good game because it really is just pure fun.
Oh yeah. And I feel like the skill ceiling in this game is so high. Like you could be like anybody that's good at this game. There's like still a tier that's above that, and like you can get there if you keep playing. It's like the skill ceiling is so high in this game, but it's accessible to anybody that wants to play it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, no, I totally. Yeah, it's fun to play, but hard to get good at.
Yeah, kind of like
it's almost arguably like more fun to play when you're terrible at it, which is like which is such a fun thing.
I just like playing against the bots personally. Like I just hop on and play a little. Like, how can I make this goal look really impressive? Because the bots aren't very good. It's like I know I can win at least. Yeah. So, is there anything you guys want to talk about other than, I mean, having it, the fact that it failed out the gate with the supersonic version, and then having such success on a sequel, it's probably not very common amongst the game industry. I haven't done a lot of research on that, but What do you guys think about that, and having it fail right out the gate, and then having the second iteration of it be this successful?
Yeah, I mean, it's a testament to social media and Twitch and like just the way that people communicate now and the way that people share things now. And just like, because by all intents and purposes, like that old footage of that old game looked pretty good still. So the fact that it wasn't popular really just amounted to there's probably like a lot more AAA attention back then, and there wasn't a lot of room for indie games to kind of grow unless they were like independently selected. Like the biggest indie games from back then were like, you know, Castle Crashers and and like Limbo and like Explosion Man and like stuff like that were like, they were indie games, but they were also like curated and like kind of given like top billing on Xbox Live and on PSN when they would come to PSN. But they also came to that time, they also came to those platforms at a time when full games weren't downloadable. Like, so Halo 3 wasn't competing with an indie game on Xbox Live. Like, indie games were competing amongst each other, and there was such a small volume of them back then that like they could really get you could really get a boost if you were curated by the platform holder. So I really do think like if PlayStation just curated this, it probably would have exploded back then.
I'm pretty positive they had some kind of partnership with PlayStation when they launched on PS4, because there was a reason they put it on Windows but not the Xbox One initially. Yeah. So I don't remember the exact details of that, but that probably helped this generation of Rocket League kind of soar above the previous generation of it.
Yeah, definitely.
With that being said, is there anything else you guys want to say about Rocket League?
Cars and soccer balls.
It's good. Go play it.
Definitely go play Rocket League. If you haven't played Rocket League, you've probably been living under a rock. You know, Patrick Starr better get out of his hiding place and actually, play this game. But as always, I'm Chris.
And I'm Will.
I'm Chris.
And we will see you
on the next CHRILLCAST.